Get ready to uncover how schools manipulate students' thoughts, stifle their potential, and how politicians steal money in the future of America from kids. Welcome to the JB Sill Show.
Alright there, everybody. Welcome back to Operation Anti-Indoctrination. I am your humble host, JB. Not gonna lie, it's been a slow week in the... Been a bit of a slow week in the school news. Don't worry, we've still got some stuff, but we're gonna be getting into some history today because, you know, not much going on. Everything's kind of getting back into business. We just hit our 1 year anniversary on the channel, so that's kind of cool. I don't know what the exact date was, but it was September 20th or something. I read about that. So that's you know, that's pretty cool. But yeah, slow news week. I don't know what's going on. It hasn't been this slow since like probably July or something. I mean, it's been, not much has happened, but still excited to get into it today. It's Thursday. Not a big fan of Thursday. Like, what even is happening on Thursday? You know, you got Monday, which is the beginning of the week, and you got Tuesday. Not much happens on Tuesday either. Then you got Wednesday, which is like the middle, and then Friday, which is, well, Friday. But like, what's even happening on Thursday? Thursday kind of, I don't know. It's not the best, but hopefully this show will make it a little more interesting. So let's get into some stuff here. I'm excited to get into it. I hope you'll enjoy the show. I hope the show will be good today. I don't know. You can tell me in the comments section below, or you can email me jbsocial@gmail.com. But anyway, let's go. So first story here. A Marshall University professor has been caught on tape wishing for every Trump supporter to die before the election. She says, quote, "I hope they all die before the election," unquote. This is a actual professor at Marshall University. She has now been suspended. I don't know if she's getting paid or not, but I guess she took it a little bit too far. But honestly, yeah, that's kind of how they're thinking in the universities. They hate the president and all of his supporters with a true passion. I mean, she says her reasoning is basically that you cannot talk sense into them, you cannot speak rationally to them, so they should all die, basically, is what she says. Somewhat accuse her side of the same thing, you know. We love accusing each other of the same stuff in America, because that's how it works. But yeah, she said, I hope they all die before the election. And, it's kind of like, what do you expect by now? But at the same time, this is getting volatile. I mean, I don't know what the 1850s felt like, but, whew, jeez. All right. As I'm sure you've all seen, this is the big thing, really big thing in the last week. President Trump has started something called the 1776 Commission to promote patriotic education in the school system, and I believe they will be drafting lesson plans and all that for schools across the country. Now, as much as I do support this, I guess, we could all use some patriotic education, informed patriotism, as they say. As much as we could all use a rejection of the 1619 Project and the Howard Zinn People's History of the United States textbooks, all that horrible stuff, as much as we could use that, this isn't really the government's kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying government, I'm not saying they shouldn't try to do anything on this, but you're not going to fix it at such a massive level. You're not going to coordinate something like that. It's 50 states, God knows how many schools. There's like 70,000 school districts. So I don't see how you're going to coordinate that. But basically, I guess it's a rejection of the 1619 Project, and now it's like the 1776 Project, right? It's a new commission where supposedly we're going to have all this patriotic education. Yeah, I mean, I guess I do support this, but I just don't see how you're going to do that. I mean, maybe it'll surprise me, but I don't see how you're going to do that on a mass level, and like, how are you going to do that for all 12 grades? That just seems like it's going to be almost impossible for the federal government to do. Not that they shouldn't try, but, this is going to take a lot more than just Trump and Betsy DeVos going at it, going at the system with a hammer or whatever, and trying to make something new out of it. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll have to see. All right. Jeez, we're getting through a lot of stuff here fast. All right. So, a parent on Twitter took a screenshot of a little privilege quiz that was given to his child in middle school, not high school, not elementary school, middle school, where they were. It's very, very divisive. It's very racialized, where they're saying, basically, let's see here. I think, yeah, they're saying like, now, whites have all of the privileges. So it's very divisive. It's very racializing when you're saying that. You're basically saying that if you're black or if you're Hispanic, you can't get ahead. So if you don't succeed, then it's never your fault. Blame the system. And then they give you this little privilege questionnaire, I guess. Yeah. Where you're trying to put a check mark to any statement that is true for you. And I guess the more statements you check off, the more privileged you are. So, I mean, I guess I'll share with you some of them is a little ridiculous. Like, we have a president who looks like me. Well, I guess the president's Trump, and he's kind of orange, so I don't know if any of us really have a president that looks like them, but I guess they're referring to skin color there, and some ridiculous stuff there, yeah, that's what they try to do. The schools want to divide America along racial lines. They're fueling this. You have to understand that. They're fueling this massive racial division. These, I don't know if you can call them race riots that we're having right now, but these riots that we're having, the schools are fueling all of this. It all goes back to the schools. Never forget that. Like the all roads lead to Rome, that saying from the Roman Empire. All roads lead to the school system. Never forget that. Never forget that the roads lead to the school system. Everything here, everything that's happening, it's not coming out of nowhere. It's not materializing out of the ozone layer. It's coming out of the school system. Never, ever forget that, and never let them tell you otherwise. The schools have become a machine en masse for Antifa-style propaganda. I was just talking to my friend the other day. He was talking about how in literally the books in the libraries were Black Lives Matter sort of stuff. So this is the machine in the school system, the progressive machine, and it, of course we've talked about how far this goes back. You can watch some of our other episodes, and we'll get in. I guess we're gonna get into some stuff. I mean, I just have a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. I don't really have any sort of coordinated plan for this show. I'm kind of winging it, but I've got some stuff in my mind. But yeah, never forget that it goes back to the school system. Where basically, and this is the life people live, and I've ranted about this, but the life you live in America right now is you're born into it's very likely that you're born into a single mother or even a single father, which I hear is on the rise. Let's just see, like, single parenthood rate. I'm gonna Google that here because it's astronomical. I think let's see here. So nationally, the single motherhood rate looks like about 40%. 40%. So there's already, when you're born in America, there's a 2 in 5 chance you're born out of wedlock. That's bad. That's really flippin' bad. If you are black, it's a 70% chance. A 70% chance you're born out of wedlock. By the way, that's down from like 30% in the 60s when there was all this inequality. So after all of this advance made in the name of racial equality, all of it's gotten worse. And of course, it's not much better for whites. It's like 35% for whites, and then you have like 60% for Latinos. So it's bad. It's really flippin' bad. So yeah, 4 in 10, 2 out of 5 kids are born out of wedlock. That's already not good. And then you have this whole phenomenon where basically everybody knows the school system is messed up. Everyone knows it. Nobody will tell you, oh, the school system's great. Nobody except Brandy Weingarten and all the hacks and the unions. But apart from them, everyone will say the school system has some really big problems. But for some reason, when you poll parents, they all think the school they're sending their kids to is, it's different. It's just different, right? It's kind of like in Congress where no one likes Congress. It's got like a 12% approval rating. But then everyone loves their congressman. Everyone loves their senator. But it's kind of like this with the school system where everyone knows the school system is shot. But everyone thinks that the school system they send their kid to is great. Because reasons. Nobody thinks that there will be drugs in their kid's school. There won't be guns in their kid's school. There won't be sex ed and radical free love stuff going on in their school, their kids' school. It could never happen. It'll be over in the next town. It'll be over in the next city. It'll be over in the next state. It could never happen to their kids. Never, right? It's only going to be in some other far off state where which they don't have to worry about. They'll never have to worry about it because it'll never happen to them. And then it does happen to them. And then, let me ask you this. What is the ideal boy in the schools today? Is it a boy who is hyperactive, masculine, plays, is rambunctious, boisterous, wrestles, fights a little bit, all of that stuff? Is that the ideal boy in the schools? Or is the ideal schools and the boy is the ideal boy in the schools today, is the ideal boy effeminate, drugged, quiet, subservient, compromising? Which one do you think it is? Again, that's not good. Now, I understand that some of the drugging may be necessary. I'm not a fan of it regardless, but sometimes you need Ritalin and all that. However, what we're seeing right now is unbelievable, completely unbelievable. Where I don't know what the percentage is, but we are giving I think it's 1 out of 5 kids. We're giving them ADHD medicine. We're giving them Ritalin. We're giving them mind-altering drugs, if you can believe it. Now, again, sometimes it may be necessary, but I don't think it's necessary in most cases, especially for an education. And then you have this transgenderism, where if you're 6 years old and you say, "Oh, mommy, I'm a girl," and you're a boy, well, we'll give you hormones, we'll give you all this great stuff, and then the school will do it, and sometimes the school won't even tell the parents what they're doing. And then obviously you're not allowed to talk out of line. Recess has been cut dramatically in the last 50 years. If you look at it, recess has decreased by over 50% in the amount of time they get. So you have no time to get out your energy. You're just told to you stay in line, mortal. Stay in line. Don't get out of line. That's what you must do. And then once you get out of school, if you haven't been turned into some degenerate, amoral, intellectually and morally and financially bankrupt zombie, if somehow, gosh, you make it out of that system by some miracle, then what? You go to college, it gets twice as bad. You get $200,000 in debt, $100,000 in debt, $50,000 in debt, which you're going to be paying back for the next 80 years of your life. And you work for like Amazon or something. You become a UPS driver. I don't know, but you become a cog in the wheel for some massive corporation that does not care about you. In fact, what they do in Amazon, literally, I don't know if you know this, but in Amazon, they literally pay the people so much so that they can qualify for welfare, so that you're simultaneously working for Amazon, getting, a very small amount of money, and you're on welfare. Does nobody see a problem with that? Look, I'm not a socialist. I'm not a redistributionist. But does nobody see a problem with the fact that people are working for Amazon and other companies and getting paid so little money? It might have been Walmart as well. Getting paid so little money that they also are on welfare at the same time. Is that not a slight issue? Somebody tell me I'm not going nuts here. I think that's a little bit of a problem. And then, the cycle repeats itself. The cycle of poverty and sadness. By the way, interesting fact here. Everybody's getting less happy. And this is supposedly as we become more equal as a society with regards to gender. But everyone is becoming less happy. Like this, feminism. God knows what wave of feminism we're on right now. Is it 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 20th? Who knows? But the problem with feminism is observably speaking, it makes not only men less happy, but women less happy. And that's absolutely and relatively to men. So women used to be happier than men. I don't know how many decades you have to go back, but women used to be happier than men. Now, everyone's less happy. Men and women are less happy, but women are even less happy than men are. So it's flipped. And the problem with that, obviously, is that men like happy women and women like less happy men. So now it's all reversed and everything's messed up because of because of our little, our moral relativism and this feminism, which is not, objectively speaking, is not working. It's not. Like, I don't know why this is such a controversial thing to say, but it's not working. Something's going very, very wrong with all this. And I don't know that I want to go back to, where women can't own property or can't work, but I think we need a little bit of tradition here, right? I mean, I don't think we need a revolution. I think we need more of a renaissance. And again, all roads lead to the school system, all of them. The school system, it obviously foments drug addiction, guns. I don't know if you've seen this, but I think it's like 10% of kids carry guns to school. Which is obviously in very strict violation of with the laws and with the policies, but that doesn't matter. So let's see here. So now what they're doing is they have metal detectors at the front of schools. You have literally the schools are literally jails, like they're actual jails. But let's see. So yeah, 15% of kids carry weapons to school. Guns, knives, clubs, you name it. And it's been bad for a while. It's been bad for a very, very long time. Men are much more likely to do it. But yeah. So we have an epidemic of carrying weapons to school. And this is down a great deal since like the 90s, but it's still very, very bad, where you're having an environment where literally there's violence all around you. When we have teachers getting assaulted, teachers assaulting students, you have relationships between students and teachers. You have some not so great relationships there that need to be. So it's a awful environment. And I guess what I'm trying to say about this is get your kids out of there. Out. I cannot say it enough. Get them out of there. Unless you want them to be illiterate, morally bankrupt, have their intellect crushed, have their creativity crushed, have their free will crushed, need drugs to function in the schools, get them out. It's the only thing you can do to ensure that they will not turn into what we're seeing right now. And the thing is that the school system has changed everything. It's changed absolutely everything. I don't know why no one says this, but not only has it changed, for instance, our culture, where you have a much worse, in my opinion, culture, but it's also changed the very nature of our economy. Because the school system was built for two things. The school system was built to make you into two things, which was, in the eyes of people like Rockefeller and Carnegie, it was built to make you into a worker. And in the eyes of progressives like Dewey and Thorndike and Cattell, it was built to make you into a socialist and basically a zombie that would follow whatever they said, that would follow whatever the elite said. Those are the two purposes, and actually, you wouldn't think that corporations and socialism would work well together, but actually they do in this case. They do. So now you have, it's much, much, much easier today to make yourself into a massive corporation, because you have masses of people that will work for you because they've been so dumbed down they don't do any, sure, I'll screw a toothbrush head in all day. They have nothing else to do. It's either that or the unemployment, which a lot of people choose as well. But it's rewired our economy. There was a time in American history in the 1800s where nobody wanted to work for anybody else. Everyone wanted to be that entrepreneur, the inventor, the scientist, the economist. Everyone wanted that. Now, not so much. Because you have this school system which dumbs you down more than you could possibly even imagine. It dumbs you down into a robot. And that's just the problem. Is that we don't have this great society, this great genuinely market society that we could have. We're not, in many ways, we're not a capitalist society anymore. We're more of a it's like a crony capitalist, corporation oligarchy. I don't know what you can call it, but in many ways, we don't have a true market system, which we would have if the schools didn't dumb us down. We could have that, but we don't. We do not have that. So, that's obviously a very, very big issue. And we should have that society. We should have this society where nobody wants to work. I don't want to work for you. Should be the first thing people say. You're gonna have to pay me some good money there, buddy. But otherwise I'm gonna start my own business. But we don't have that entrepreneurial attitude anymore. We don't have that spirit of ingenuity and innovation. Instead, we're just a bunch of robots that have become docile, that have become subservient, that have become compromising, that have become, very much the opposite of what the founders would have wanted, where they emphasized things like virtue, things like the common decency, community, camaraderie, all this stuff. But we don't have that anymore. Instead, what we have is this horrible society where you have first of all, you don't have communities anymore. You have networks online, right? And you also have this horrible culture, which is all fueled by the school system. Never forget that, because of the deliberate dumbing down, the indoctrination that all kids face, and that's why we're here to combat that. It has to be combated by someone, I guess. And I guess that's why we're here, because that's why we started it, really. That's why we started this podcast. So, yeah, I could go on for another 20 minutes. This could be we could be doing this for an hour. We could be sitting back, relaxing for an hour. Who would like to do that? Who would like to just sit back, relax, and talk about the school system for an hour? That'd be fun. I'd enjoy it. I've done it before with my friends and all that. I've done it before, but I just have this podcast here to talk. I'm talking into the microphone. I don't even know if anyone's listening to this, but if you are, please do share the episode. I would really, really appreciate that. Share with all your friends. Share with your cousin today. How about that? Share the video with your cousin. That'd be great. I'd appreciate that very much. And if you don't have a cousin, this is tough. I don't know, man. Share with your second cousin, maybe. I don't know how all that works. How's it? I can't get into it. All right, gotta end the show off today. So you can like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Email me jbsocial@gmail.com. If you have any questions about the school system, you'd like me to clear up on anything, I'd be more than happy to. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. So if you no, gotta leave. Sorry. Until next time, I have been your host JB. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.